Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're going to film a Let's Talk video. And I'm wearing the same thing as in my last two videos on my beauty channel. I really like taking advantage of when I can record, so when I can, I record a few videos. So today I am going to be talking about David Bowie, and if you followed me for a while, or I don't know, maybe on my beauty channel, then you know I am a big David Bowie fan. I have a David Bowie tutorial. My dog is named after David Bowie and he's trying to like take off his little sweater. This guy, his name is Bowie. And I just love David Bowie, I really do. And I remember I started listening to David Bowie when I was a kid. My dad has always taught me a lot about music. My earliest memories of David Bowie was when I was a child. My dad just raised me on music like Elton John and Queen, Billy Joel, Madonna, and of course David Bowie. So I remember listening to David Bowie when I was so young, and like the song that I used to love the most, and this is because my dad was a huge, and still is a huge, Queen fan. I used to love Under Pressure, especially David Bowie's parts. I just thought his voice was so different, so I remember loving Under Pressure. I don't remember seeing much of David Bowie when I was young, but I do remember hearing about him, and of course I could recognize him and his like iconic album covers, so I knew about him. And it wasn't until I was much older that I started like appreciating David Bowie more, because as I grew up, especially once I moved to the US, like middle school, high school, even college, I started feeling really weird, really awkward, like an outsider basically. I did get bullied because of my appearance. I do have different facial features, as you can see, like the big strong brows, a really small mouth, so people, especially my peers, used to tease me a lot. Even like grown-ups would tease me about my brows, so I always felt like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't cool enough, I didn't fit in with a lot of groups in high school. It was just like I never found like a place that I would fit in. So like in high school especially, I started identifying and really attaching myself to these like musical artists that embrace being unique and embrace being like weird, and like just taught me that being myself and being like a little strange is alright. So I started listening to like David Bowie and Off Montreal, and even like artists like Mika, who are a little bit awkward and on the introverted side. I started listening to them and I just built this like attachment to their music, so I would like look up to them to give me the motivation to like keep going. And like I don't know, it was just very encouraging to see people own their weirdness and own what makes them unique. So for me that was very special. And it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I really got into David Bowie. So I've always enjoyed David Bowie since my childhood, but it's just been getting more and more intense as the years go by. And in recent years I've been just putting him on this like pedestal. I just adore him and like look up to him like no other. And I really appreciate how much he's influenced artists that I love, like The Killers and Licky Lee and St. Vincent, and you just have, the list can go on and on and on, honestly. Like almost anyone and everyone in the music industry has been influenced by David Bowie. Even like legends like Elton John and Paul McCartney have been influenced by David Bowie. It's that like that big of an influence, and I feel like people, especially people that aren't familiar with David Bowie, might be getting a little bit annoyed by how much coverage his death is getting. And you might not understand why he's getting all that coverage or why he's so influential and important in music history, but I really recommend this article that I saw on BuzzFeed. It was like 17 things you can teach your child about David Bowie, something like that. It's meant for kids, but I feel it's a good introduction for people that aren't familiar with David Bowie. So I will leave it linked down below, and I was reading through it and I was just like, I was like about to cry just because those are the things that I love about him. I love that he just embraced being weird, embraced being quirky. He was always so incredibly humble, and if you listen to his interviews you get to like see how deep and how like eloquent he was. he also really cared about minorities, especially like African Americans. And I mean, he was just an amazing, amazing human. Like, I cannot even emphasize how like incredible he was as a human being. So outside of his David Bowie persona, David Jones was just an incredible human being, and I appreciate his like need and desire to keep his private life completely private, because I feel like sometimes even here on YouTube we overshare too much. Like every single thing, like people know, like I know so much about, I don't know, like Kim Kardashian, she just shares everything and there's like no like mystique, nothing. Everything's like out in the open. And with David Bowie, you knew his persona, but you didn't know about the man, David Jones. So I love that he just kept his private life private. Similar to nowadays Daft Punk. Like you really don't know much about Guy-Manuel and Thomas, but you know about Daft Punk, the duo with the helmets and everything. So I really respect when artists separate their private life and their art. That's like, I really, really appreciate that. So it's been a week since I found out that David Bowie died, and just even thinking about how I found out, like what I felt, oh my god, it was just unexplainable. I was laying in bed just watching like the Food Network out of all things, and my boyfriend texted me like, David Bowie died, question mark, because he assumed that I knew, but I didn't. So when I first read that text, I got this like cold chill go throughout my body. Like I just like went tense. And the first thing I did was like, I really didn't want to believe him. I thought like, oh my god, what a cruel joke for him to play. And then I just googled and googled David Bowie, and everything was just like, David Bowie dead at 69. David Bowie dead. David Bowie has gone. And it was just, I could not believe it. It took me a while to process that because it was so unexpected. And even though like David Bowie had said that he didn't want to tour anymore, I was still hoping that maybe he would change his mind for a special occasion or something. Like I just was so like hopeful and I was like really wishing that he would change his mind because I really wanted to see him live, but unfortunately it just never happened. And the best I can do is just watch like DVDs now. So it took me such a long time to process that, and even like right now it's been like over a week and I still kind of refuse to believe that he's gone. It's just been hard for me to accept that he's gone. But his music and his influence and everything, his art, will always live on, but it's just tough. Like I've been listening to David Bowie a lot this past week, and it's just, even the happy songs, like they make me a bit sad because on the back of my head I know that he will no longer be making new music and creating new art, and it's just sad. It's sad to live in a world without David Bowie, and I'm trying my best not to cry on camera or like get really teary-eyed. I can feel the water just like collecting, but I need to remain composed. Let's keep it composed. Keep it tear-free. Keep it tear-free here. But yeah, it was just very sad. His influence thankfully will live on, and just what he taught me will live forever. I mean, maybe you're seeing me on camera and you think that I'm this like cool person, and you're probably wondering like, why do you feel like an outsider? Why do you feel weird? But there's sides of my life that you guys don't know, like the bullying, the feeling excluded from everything. I've always had a struggle of fitting in and relating to other people, so that's why like people like David Bowie just mean so much to me in my life. So I really look up to him. I hope that he's in a better place. I don't know where he is. He could be in heaven, he could be living another life now, he could be in another planet. I have no idea where he could be at this moment, but I hope he's in a better place, and I'm pretty sure he will. I mean, wherever he's at, he's probably having the time of his life. Hopefully Freddie Mercury is there too, John Lennon, and all these other musical like legends and heroes are there, like rocking along with him. So yeah, oh my god. If you don't know much about David Bowie, I highly suggest you look up the 5 Years documentary on Showtime. You can stream it for free on the Showtime app or on your what's it called, Apple TV. You can do that. That is a terrific documentary. On YouTube you have all the music videos, you have interviews, you have all these things at your disposal. Even Spotify has all his discography, so I highly suggest you look him up. He is not a figure that people are just like shoving down your throats because he has passed away. He's someone that changed music history, someone that changed the way we perceive art and sexuality. I mean, I can go on and on about the things that David Bowie did for the world, but I won't. Because I'm gonna give you guys some homework to check him out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really tried my best not to like cry or anything because it is sad, but on the other side I do have to like remind myself to celebrate him instead of just like curling up into a ball and like crying. So yeah, if you're a David Bowie fan, please let me know in the comments below. If you aren't a fan or you're just not familiar with him, I really hope you take the time to like look him up and really like discover what made him so special. Hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Talk video. If you're new to his channel and you enjoyed this video and you happen to stumble upon this, please take the moment to subscribe by clicking right over here, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Me and Bowie are gonna go now. Bye! Welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about my channel, this channel in particular, because out of all my channels that I have, and I have a few,